Hi, we're Socratic Cinema. We just wanted to add this piece in because we forgot to plug ourselves, shameless plug. But you can find us on our social media at Socratic Cinema, all lowercase. And you can find us on YouTube and Spotify and Anchor along with iTunes and Apple Music? iTunes?
It's the same thing,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. Anywhere that you find good quality
Podcasts.
No, I was...
What?
I don't know what you were going for there.
Your fancy word. Your fancy, like...
Oh, yeah.
Kino.
No, Kino's movies.
Dang.
We're making it apply to podcasts.
I feel like we've had this argument before.
Okay.
Is it deja
Subscribe,
vu?
follow, subscribe,
Okay.
follow, subscribe.
We've
Follow,
Just
subscribe.
Just Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Yeah.
Or Twitter
Watch.
doesn't exist.
Yep.
Watch on YouTube. Watch
Okay.
on Spotify.
Bye.
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 Love
Thank
you.
you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Socratic Cinema. My name is Haleigh Phillips.
My name's Charlie Heatherly.
I'm Kasey Clark.
And I'm James Delicio.
And today we are reviewing November movies.
Yeah. We're not... It's a little different today. We have all been watching a lot of really great movies, but we didn't want to talk about... There were so many great movies recently that we've been watching. We didn't want to talk about just one. So today is just kind of a general overview of what's going on in the moviescape. What's been coming out? What have we been watching? What's going to be coming out in the future? All of the above. So, what have you guys been watching?
Well, so we're going to talk about three main movies, right? We're going to talk about Knives Out, Frozen 2, and then I Saw Ford v Ferrari. So,
Yeah, just you.
Loser.
just me. Ford v Ferrari is a good movie. We'll leave that one for later, but
And maybe Little Mandalorian. Who knows?
maybe a little bit of Mandalorian.
What are we feeling?
So, three of us have seen Knives Out, unless you've seen it, Kasey.
That'd be Haleigh, Charlie, and myself.
Yes. So we've all seen Knives Out, and I personally thought it was a very, very, very great movie. I love Rian Johnson. I think he did a great job with The Last Jedi, and we'll get back into that when we're talking about Rise of Skywalker later on, because I am for sure touching on that and the trailers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think he's a fantastic writer, and although there were some moments in the film that felt a little bit forced 21st century or forced 20th,
There was a lot of forced political commentary.
It didn't detract too much from the movie for me, and it was honestly a super, super minor gripe. The general plot of the film was very interesting, especially for a whodunit movie.
Yeah.
There's a huge twist, and I think in an interview he said that what he wanted to do is he wanted to start it off as like a whodunit, then move it to a Hitchcockian thriller, and then move it back into a whodunit, and have that sort of general layout.
It's almost like an anti-twist, kind of, which I think
It
is just like spoilers for Knives Out, Frozen 2, Ford vs. Ferrari, and any other movie you can think of ever.
You're always the one that remembers the spoilers.
We're talking about all the movies, every movie ever today.
Every single one. Rosebud.
But so Chris Evans' character Ransom, you start the movie and it's like, oh, obviously Ransom did it. It's clearly Ransom. And then in the middle of the movie, you're like, oh, no, he's a good guy. That's a cool twist. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, no, Ransom did it. Okay. But in a good way. I said it so disappointed.
No,
But
yeah.
it was
wasn't
good.
a good way.
Chris Evans plays... He's so good.
Yes, he was very
hot.
good.
I didn't even see the movie. He's hot.
He's so good at playing, like, jerks. He has that, like, frat boy attitude about him.
Especially in
He's
Scott
a
Pilgrim as
Chris.
well. I feel like it's sort of the same character he played in Scott Pilgrim, but a little bit nicer in the middle of the movie.
It is a little bit more posh.
Yeah. Posh. Oh, that's a good word. Just say it.
Right. What's all right? Hello. What's all this then?
We just lost our demographic.
It's
of
gone.
English viewers.
I'm appealing to the UK fans. I learned on our Spotify Wrapped. We have UK fans.
How many?
Yes.
Hello, top of the morning to you.
Oh, don't listen to him.
He just mixed like three different cultures.
I love. I watched the first season of Doctor Who. UK.
Wait, like the first season of Doctor
No,
Who.
the one with the
Tennant,
Irish guy.
David Tennant?
No, before David Tennant. The first one with Rose.
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah.
Was that 9th or 8th?
That was
Doctor?
9th.
Ninth.
I don't remember.
What's his name? But the guy with the
There's-
blazer.
Well, the Doctor
Yeah.
is his name.
With the weeping children.
Eccleston.
the-
It's Christopher Eccleston.
Oh
right?
yeah, and then it's David Tennant,
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Old guy, lady.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I
See,
love.
we know Doctor Who,
I'm
guys.
forgetting his name. What's his name?
The Daleks.
Daleks.
Doctor Who is fantastic,
Oh,
but
it's so
we were talking about Knives Out.
Exterminate.
Exterminate. No, I've been watching a quick little side tangent. I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who videos on YouTube for whatever reason. They just got recommended to me. And there's this one channel called Full Fat Videos, which just only does Doctor Who video essays, and they're super fantastic. And then after I watched their videos, I went into like a 2-hour-long binge of the best Doctor Who speeches, and I felt so inspired.
Have you guys seen the scene? It's a Matt Smith episode. I love Matt Smith. It's the one where they take Da Vinci.
Oh,
Yeah.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
I almost said Da Vinci. They take Van Gogh to his own
museum.
exhibit, like in the future, and he starts crying.
So powerful.
I like that scene. I've only seen that. I haven't seen that episode. I've just seen that scene on YouTube. It's really good, guys.
I don't know. My favorite Doctor Who is Old Doctor. I forget his name.
With the scarf?
No, old gray-haired Doctor.
Peter
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. That's his name. I knew it was Peter something.
Garibaldi.
Yes, Peter Capaldi. He has this one episode called Heaven Sent, and it's all about him being trapped in a prison. That in order to get to the end of it, it's like the end of it's like encased in diamond. And essentially what he does is it takes him 1,000,000 years or something like that to get to the end of it, but he regenerates after he gets killed at the very end. So what he does is for trillions of years, he goes back and punches this diamond, like until he can finally get through the barricade, and he has this fantastic speech with like some swooning music over the top. It's beautiful. And he punches through and he's like, I'm so cool, and then the episode ends. It's the best. It's so good. And that's why he's my favorite Doctor, because he's like angry all the time, but he's got hope in him. He's a hard man, but he's got a spark of joy.
And that's why I loved Knives Out. Yeah, it's just really good. I had never gotten to whodunits, but I really I liked Knives Out.
That's good.
I played the board game Clue.
The movie
yes.
Clue's hilarious, and I would recommend.
Doesn't it have multiple endings? the
Yes,
movie Clue?
and the cool thing about it is that at different theaters, it
play
ended
differently.
differently.
Yo, that's
What?
cool.
That's
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
And so you didn't know how it ended anyways.
That's cool.
We're actually going to play Star Wars Clue during the podcast as we're doing this right
With-
now. So
We're taking after also my favorite podcasters, the McElroy brothers, and we're gonna also be watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
oh yeah, did you watch their episode on how it was this year?
No, go check out Till Death Do Us Blart. It's the McElroy brothers watching Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 every year on Thanksgiving and recording a podcast about it.
Why would you commit that sort of torture to yourself?
I mean, why do we do this?
For clicks,
So-
baby.
Why
for
am I
clicks.
with the three of you who
Exactly.
Maybe the
Because I bring gifts every
maybe-
once in a while.
maybe the Kasey brought us some delightful,
She
lovely
did,
things.
look.
Lovely.
I threw mine on the floor by accident, and then it was
Lovely.
taken away from me.
Yes, she brought us lovely jars of candy.
Hey, wait, can I have a pretzel real quick?
Oh god.
Oh, that's good ASMR.
Oh god.
There you go, sir.
Let's see. Are you even pick that
Oh,
up?
amazing. I chewed loudly there. It's a very good pretzel.
We Kasey, shout out to Kasey. Should you guys know her.
Thank you.
Love Kasey.
Shout out to A and B for making that bomb intro.
And
Hey,
Shout out
let's go.
to Jamie, our
Jamie.
computer guy who gives us all our pictures that we don't put
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
At all.
Our end of the year shout outs. Shout out, I want to say, shout out to Tobey Maguire, keeping it real, keeping it fresh. Shout out to Tom Holland
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
for doing a bang up job.
He's been through a lot.
Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to not only God, but Jesus.
And the
There
Holy
you go.
Spirit.
And the
Yes.
Holy
All
Spirit.
three of them.
We're a Trinitarian podcast. Shout out to Jojo Rabbit. That's a cool movie. Did any of you guys ever see Jojo Rabbit?
Yes, we were going to do a
Yeah, but-
podcast on it, James.
Oh yeah, we were gonna do it.
Oops.
Kasey's 0 for 2 so far.
I know.
The only movie she's seen out of the three I listed was Frozen 2.
Let's talk about Jojo Rabbit for a minute while we're here though.
Hey,
Yeah.
super great.
I hope it wins a best original screenplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi is so smart.
So genius.
It watches like a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah,
which is
for sure.
Cool. It reminds me a lot of like Moonrise Kingdom. If any of you guys have seen
yeah.
that. It's a cute little movie.
His writing is just it's so joyful, but it allows for very dramatic stuff to take place in very emotional moments. Like he had this other movie, For the Wilder People, which is my favorite movie of his, and I think it's better than Jojo Rabbit. But
Okay.
But both of them sort of have this, really funny dark humor. I mean, not necessarily dark humor, but you know what I'm,
Yeah.
trying to go for. Like, it's taking mature subjects and putting them in a comedic lens, right? But through that, he gets a lot of dramatic value. And we see in Jojo Rabbit, spoilers, don't watch, don't keep watching if you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit. The mom dies. Oh no, it's so sad. And, like, for the entirety of the movie, up until that point, I said spoilers. I told you not to watch.
Casey's here, Charlie.
You should have put your earmuffs on. Do you remember in elementary school when they did earmuffs and eye muffs and you had to put okay, cool.
I was homeschooled. Man.
Oh, you're weird. That's right. I forgot.
No, Charlie, you're the only one.
So basically, what happened is his mom died, and it was very, very sad, and it hit you it hit different because up until that point in the movie, it was so comedic, and it was like you had a fun time. Yeah, go, someone go.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
I thought the part where her mom dies his mom dies is crazy because the movie, it's such a smart, like, the cinematography is so smart. Mm-hmm. It gives you throughout the movie so many shots of his mom's shoes. Like, she'll be like dancing along the street and we get like a close up of her shoes or whatever. Mm-hmm. She's walking up the stairs and you get a shot of her shoes. And when Jojo's like walking through the street and he looks at like the public execution thing and you see a shot of her mom's shoes like hanging off the ground.
Absolutely brutal.
Why are you laughing? Hallie's
No,
That's
because you
wrong.
keep
Hallie's
saying
like,
her.
that was
No,
the
you
funny
keep
part.
saying her mom.
Halleigh, the Jew girl's
what
mom
is this
too.
psychological? Oh.
Their mom.
Okay.
Collectively.
No, but I was gonna point that out because as like filmmaker, movies can so easily just give you something that you need to know and exploit the whole end of the movie. But I feel like what happened in this movie is that it served you all these little things, but it did it so well and it executed it so well that it all came together without.
It wasn't in your face.
Right.
It was nuanced.
It was very subtle, and I appreciated that.
I would have been crying for real.
Oh no, it was tough.
Tons of symbolism in the movie too. Like so many different. He's very smart, not only script wise, but as you guys were saying, visually. Like that entire theme, I guess you could say, with the or motif. We'll call it, with the shoes, is incredibly smart, and it ends up being a lot of different things, which partly goes into why motifs are so good. You start off with one emotion and then you change to another. Probably the best example of that's the entirety of Hamilton in every song. But
That's true.
other tiny little things in there are like just in the background. They don't really matter too much, but they end up serving a whole lot of purpose and meaning if you pay attention to them. Like right before his mom dies, you get to see this poster, like this Nazi propaganda poster, and it's like molding off the wall, like it's falling down.
Yeah.
And Jojo's the one that put that up originally, because he was like an ardent Nazi at one point.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see how he slowly, through his relationship with his mother and the Jew he finds hiding in his attic, he sort of becomes more and more human and away from that Nazi ideal. And you can see even the posters he put up are starting to crumble, and he's understanding more about the world.
That's really good. Hot take.
Hot take.
We have a new catchphrase, by the way. Hot takes, hot movies, hot people. Socratic Cinema.
2 out of those 3 are true. It's up for you to figure out.
The takes are not that hot. Relatively lukewarm takes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, pertaining to Knives Out and Jojo Rabbit and Frozen and everything, I think movies these days are doing like a good job with their trailers about not showing too much of the plot anymore.
Yes.
Like Knives Out, the protagonist of the movie is not in the trailers. Jojo Rabbit,
Yeah. What? Oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't even notice. Sorry.
Jojo Rabbit, the female lead is not in the trailers.
Oh, and it was totally comedic. It hit me out of the field. I was like, I'm walking into a different movie.
I had no idea that movie was gonna. Jojo Rabbit trailer. The trailers play it up as like all taking place in the wilderness camp, when in reality that's the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson is shown in the trailers.
Yeah,
and she's shown to be the fun-loving mom. But like,
Not the Jewish girl. She's not in any of the
no, not the
trailers.
Jew. No, she is.
She is.
She is?
Yeah.
I swear I didn't know that was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
be a
they
thing.
have that in there. The thing they didn't have in there is that they really marketed it. Shut up. they really showed it to the world as this sort of very comedic movie, something that Taika Waititi for. Like, this is the guy that did Thor Ragnarok, right? But it's a very sad movie at its core, right? And it's about this kid who, like, he's struggling to fit into a club that is not a good one to fit into. And then after that, he can't really let go of the people that brought such positives to his life. Like, at the very end, he lies to the Jewish girl about the war being over.
Yeah.
And then he brings her out, and he's like, okay, go run. And then she, like, slaps him or something, right?
And then they dance.
And then I love that.
I like that they dance. I love it when movies end with dancing. Like Megamind.
No.
It ended like that.
It did, but it's not a good movie.
My dream is to make a movie, and then at the last scene, you start boogieing. But
What?
it's set to King Harvest's Dancing in the Moonlight.
Ooh.
That's my dream.
What?
It's a song.
Well, no, really?
Jamie, play a clip.
Play
Play a
it.
clip. Dancing in the moonlight. Thank you.
Don't copyright us, whoever owns that song.
We've been excluding our dear friend Kasey. What movies have you seen, Kasey?
Oh, I saw Frozen 2.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we all see that one?
No.
Not this guy.
Loser.
Dang, loser.
It's because I see good movies.
Loser.
I saw Ford vs. Ferrari.
Ford vs. Ferrari is so good.
Frozen 2 was a very
started.
pungent 7.5 out of 10.
Ooh, pungent, gross.
A very hairy 7
Oh
out of 10.
yeah, let's give it
give it a rating.
rating.
Oh, Knives Out out of 10. We have to do it for all of them.
Okay.
9.
Nines out.
Nine's out.
Nine's out.
I wanted to say that I think it's weird that Knives Out's only marketing strategy is that it's certified fresh. They shove that down your throat.
It's fresh.
I think they're sponsored, I bet. Because, like, I see Knives Out ads on Rotten Tomatoes, and every trailer, it's like, certified fresh.
I guess that's the only thing they could
Certified
show
fresh.
without destroying the twist of the movie, like you were saying.
Haleigh, what do you say about Knives Out?
I would give it like, a 9 or an 8.5.
Yeah.
It's going to be a...
It's comfortable.
8.5.
I'm sitting at a very squishy 8.5 out of 10.
Squishy. I thought it was much better than Joker. I just want to put that out there. I want to
yeah.
keep saying movies are better than Joker.
I want to say on par, maybe a little bit better. Jojo Rabbit.
That's a tough one because a lot of people don't really think Jojo Rabbit is that fantastic of a Taika Waititi movie. I've heard a lot of people say that it's, and I don't agree with them. I hear a lot of people say it's not funny to joke about Nazis, and we've heard too many Nazi jokes. I disagree. I think that
I do.
He disagrees.
I do not see their point.
Well, you should always be able to joke about them, right? Because as soon as you stop joking about them, then they win.
You're right. I think you're 100% right.
But, obviously you have to do it in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that Nazis are the punchline.
It's a respectful movie.
Which they did. Yeah, no, they were very smart in making jokes that were not offensive to anyone. And if anyone was to make this movie, Taika Waititi was the one to make it. He's half Jewish, half Maori, I think. I know he's both Jewish and Maori. I don't know the percentages, but like he was the perfect guy to play Hitler. He was the perfect guy to play this movie or to do this movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, because what's a bigger FU to Hitler than having a Jew play him, right?
Yeah. What?
Irony.
The people who produced the movie only did it on the condition that he would have played Hitler.
Oh, really?
Because he's such a likable guy, and everyone knows that he's like, so pure, and everyone, the internet fawns over Taika Waititi all the time, right?
I love that boy.
And a lot of things in that movie are sort of just perfect for that movie. And I feel like Taika really knows how to use his quirk and his charm to his advantage. But I would probably give the movie, I don't know, maybe I'd give it an 8.5.
It's a very roundabout way to say 8.5, but I appreciate it was very insightful. Haleigh, what do you think?
I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie, but I think I'm gonna give it a 9 because even though there's a lot of criticism behind it, I thought it was very fantastic in the way it was well played together. But yeah, the criticism is real. I can see the perspective of other viewers being like, "Oh, it's not that fantastic because of the different views it portrays." But I think the way they went about it was really well.
I'm gonna give it a juicy 9.5 out of 10.
A 9.5.
Whoa, a 9.5.
I really, really liked this movie. It's exactly what I want in a movie.
You need to watch For the Wilder People then. You would love that.
So good.
Everyone watch For the Wilder
Casey,
People.
what do you give it out of 10?
I guess I give it I haven't seen it.
now we can
average.
move on to Frozen. I said I gave it a hairy 7 out of 10.
I'd give it a 2 out of 10 because it's the second in the...
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Yeah, 2, because
alright.
it's the second. Haleigh.
I think I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say it is an 8 out of 10.
And then you didn't talk about Frozen. I know nothing. Explain it to me like I'm a child. Like,
Did
what?
you see the first one?
Yes, I saw the first one.
Okay, wait.
My dad didn't see the first one.
Neither did my dad.
We watched it, the first one with him, and he didn't like it, and rewatching it, I didn't really like the first one that much
The
either.
first one's not.
I think the second one's way better.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah. The first one, I feel
So
like
what made the second one better?
the
Elsa's
second half.
Elsa's a character now.
Yeah.
She's not a plot device
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
Anna's still useless. But
Yeah, Anna.
She's a queen. It's
Anna.
okay.
Anna was better. I think Anna
she's
was.
a queen for the last 3
Yeah,
minutes.
like she's a queen now, I guess.
I think Anna was better in the first one, and Elsa was better in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristoff is probably just as good in both. Lost in the Woods is cool. I like it.
A reindeer pallid ballad.
Pallid ballad.
Palette ballad.
You know what? Power
We
ballad.
can't talk today.
Yeah.
It's not like we run a podcast or anything.
In
I think
What do we
smack,
think
like,
of,
middle of it.
Elsa being a fifth element?
What?
ice
That
is just
was
water. So
honed in.
Like, I know, I was like, ice is water. I was like, how is she fifth element?
Wait,
That's
she-
crazy.
they were like, there's earth and fire. It's like the Last Airbender. They were
Okay,
like earth,
sure.
fire, water, and then they were like,
It was like, surprise!
and there's a fifth element that unites them all, and in the darkness
and
binds
in the
them.
back,
It's ice.
It's ice. It's Elsa.
It's Elsa.
Ice is cold water.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I
What?
was like, how is it earth, air?
Yeah, wait, no, how can't she control water? Why can't she do that?
I
She's
don't
not
think
a
it's. I don't think it's.
waterbender.
I don't think it's
Is-
actual H2O ice. It's
Is she
probably,
like
magic
freezing
ice.
things?
I think it's producing. I don't think it's H2O.
I need a
water.
scientific
I
definition.
think, but it's weird. Let's
Like,
just
I
say
was-
the
yeah.
fifth element is magic that she has. Like,
Okay,
I
sure.
don't-
Yeah.
Appreciated that people had actual arcs in this movie. I
Yeah.
really liked that. Elsa, is like learns how to find her own place and let people in, and Kristoff.
In the
Kristoff's
unknown.
arc is get married.
Yeah,
Honestly.
basically.
Olaf
Basically.
dies.
Dies.
what-
He gets
then he comes
snapped.
back.
Yep, he
Then
gets
comes
snapped.
back.
I'm gonna say
He gets snapped.
Yeah,
Olaf.
for
Yeah,
good
he gets,
5
like-
minutes.
I think
He was. Oh, you're right. It was
Yeah,
like
it was
5
like 5
minutes.
minutes.
Olaf got more minion-ish in this movie.
Gross.
I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how I feel about it.
Like, I like Josh Gad.
Yeah.
I really, really like Josh Gad, but I really don't like Olaf all too much.
Yeah, me neither.
He's just there for jokes. He doesn't really have...
He doesn't bring much else to the
Clown.
table.
Yeah, he's for the
Clown.
kids to laugh at, right? Which is,
Yeah.
is perfectly
Minions.
fair.
Yeah,
Like,
it's needed. in a
I'm not a
Disney
kid. It's not directed at me, per se. Like, I don't think Frozen 2 was meant to be my movie.
movie. No, yeah.
We're targeting this at the 16-year-old boy demographic. Like, no. But you could at least do a little bit more with Olaf, I feel like. Like- oh, sorry, James. Did I hurt your feelings?
Wait, what?
Oh, never mind.
James looked really sad when I said that.
Oh,
He was like, this wasn't...
I'm going through my feelings.
He's like, I thought this was my movie.
No,
This was my favorite movie.
I wanted to say, I didn't like the structure of the story was kind of interesting to me because there wasn't really like an antagonist. Like there was no bad guy,
That's true, yeah.
That's true.
which is really weird
The
because
bad guy was history.
Ignorance.
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 We're on the wrong side of history.
Whoa.
boy.
Oh wait, no, but wait. To counterpoint, I think what Charlie was saying, Olaf did like a whole thing about growing up.
That's
like that
true.
was his whole thing.
Oh, I didn't watch the movie.
His
So.
Yeah.
whole thing
But
was
then he
like-
didn't-
He
But
was
then
just
he-
like a catalyst.
But he
was
didn't
a
really
Yeah.
grow up,
catalyst.
is the thing though. Like
He
didn't.
just-
He
he
didn't.
died.
He didn't fulfill
He
his
died.
own arc.
No, I know the whole song. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna understand this when I grow up," and then he dies.
I know,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, oh,
Tough.
no.
It's like tough luck. Oh,
Disney can't kill a character. Olaf comes back.
of course.
Except for her parents, right?
Yeah,
Well,
No,
even then,
Really? They come
they're
back?
ice ghosts.
they're ice
You're
ghosts because
joking.
she can see like
Yeah.
like
because
the,
the whole-
ice imprints of where they
Why
were.
is this
Water
movie
has memory.
Frozen and Star Wars, or Frozen, Star Wars, Marvel, all at the same time?
because
Okay,
they own
let me
all
say-
of those companies.
They're like, they all work. We
Let
might
me
as
say-
well-
They're all the same.
I thought the water was frozen thing. I get they were trying to do like a repetition makes it
The
meaningful, but
water was frozen.
the water has memory.
Water has memory.
Olaf's all the time. He's like, water has memory. That didn't really do anything for me.
Because water
I
doesn't
think it was
have
just
memory.
something they needed to have to be like, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
to
it's like you
explain
could have
it.
done something less stupid, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's sort of just like it sounds poetic for being a poetic
Yeah.
statement. Like that's the only reason. It just
It's like
sounds
a Tumblr
good.
post.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like water is
the only
memory.
reason they had it in there is because they're like, water is memory. That's deep. That means something. And then you
Because
don't.
ice.
Yeah, because they don't figure out what the something is, right?
Yeah.
It's like you put the something in it. And it's like, okay, you're just come on.
Yeah,
It
the
was a
real
very-
memory was the ice we made along the way.
Ooh.
And then,
Okay.
I
Oh.
think for the whole arc being about Anna and Elsa learning to work together with each other, I think having them split up at the end of the movie is really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that was. Oh, it hurt. Like.
yeah, the whole movie they're like, let me in, let's help each other. And then at the end, Elsa's like, I'm gonna go live in a forest, you go be queen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll live our own
If
lives.
you love someone, you have to let them go, James.
Let it go.
But that's
Let
like
it
the
go.
That's what I've been
that's,
getting at this
You
whole
can't
time.
hold it back anymore.
that's the opposite of like the whole
The whole thing,
arc of
yeah.
the movie.
Again, I didn't see them. I'm sorry.
I
We-
felt like the beginning was very song heavy. Like they were trying just to
Yes.
monopolize songs. I feel like
That's-
there's
yeah, they
the
were.
beginning, as I was watching it, it was like, all right, this is the cash grab part
yeah.
of it.
I was like, oh, they're just getting the soundtrack. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then it was also like so many summaries. Like I understand it's for the kids that like maybe haven't seen the first movie,
yeah.
but the majority of the world had seen the first movie, so we didn't need 30 minutes of the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, how many times can we say Hans is a bad guy?
Yeah.
yeah. So,
We've all given it our out of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Ford
Do I talk for Ford versus Ferrari?
v Ferrari.
You have
Starring-
5 minutes, Charlie.
starring
That's all you're
Ford.
getting.
Ford and Ferrari.
That's all the
So,
production time.
What's
we
it
have.
about? I don't know anything
so
about
Ford,
this movie.
Ford v Ferrari is actually really good. I went into it thinking it was going to be a pretty basic film, and like you said, I think we were talking, and you were like, I'm just not too interested in racing history.
Yeah.
And I wasn't either. But this movie is it's like The Right Stuff, if you've ever seen that, where they make the really fast airplane go sonic boom. In this movie, the whole point is that Ford, the company Ford, is trying to make a race car, which they've never done before, that's faster than Ferrari's cars. Ferrari is known for their racing history. They're one of the fastest car brands out there, and still are. Everyone's like, Ferrari, that means speed, right? The words are basically synonymous. So the whole point is that it's about American ingenuity and finding a way around every single problem so that Ford can be the top dog and have all that pride, right? But the movie paints Ford and his company, and this is like Ford Jr., so not the original guy. So Ford Jr., they paint him and his company as people that are mainly interested in money and marketing and public image. But the people inside of it, the ones making the race cars, who are heroes, I guess you could say, are protagonists in the film, Matt Damon and Christian Bale. I forgot their names. I think Christian Bale is Ken Burns. No, not Ken Burns. Ken Miles, that's his
Wasn't
name.
Ken Burns the guy with the red sweater in the election thing? Who like,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, maybe. Ken Miles, I think is his character's name, which is a great name for a racing driver. But Matt Damon and Christian Bale have this great dynamic where they're both sort of these inventors who are trying to work together to make something somewhat dangerous, somewhat inventive and ingenious, but you always have Ford coming back at them like, well, this won't look good. You know, Christian Bale's this crazy crackhead dude who, he's not a crackhead in the movie, but he breaks a lot of stuff because he's very angry all the time. He won't look good for PR. We have to get someone else for it. And it sort of goes through their story and how they overpower Ford's desire for money. And the last 30 minutes, I think, is the race, the big boy race. And it's a 24-hour race, the real one.
Whoa.
Wow.
24 hours straight, and the way they do it is there's 2 drivers, and they alternate like every couple hours.
Oh.
I think it's every 4 hours or something like that. And they take it's like 30 minutes to an hour, I forgot how long it was, of movie that you're just watching at the race. And it's like a marathon almost, and you're with them the entire time. And you can really feel like sort of the energy and the anxiousness, and everyone's trying to beat Ferrari. These guys are like in the lead for the entirety of the thing. There's so much drama and emotion behind it. And in the end, there were 3 Ford racers at the race. and they were all in the lead. They went 1, 2, 3, and Ken Miles was by far in the lead, like by a couple minutes, which is a lot in racing terms.
Oh yeah.
And the way that they ended it, and this is a historic moment in racing history, is Ford, company leader, tells Ken to slow down. And they all have to cross the finish line at the same time for a photo op. So Ken has to learn to, instead of trying to push himself and be the best there is, he has to learn to be a team player and hang back and work together with other people. But the movie's very interesting because they don't treat that as an entirely good thing. Because when Ken finishes the race, they should have all tied for first place, right?
Yeah.
Ken got second. One of the Ford racers got first because he started further back, which means he traveled a further distance and therefore won the race. And it's played up as this, horrible thing, and you're expecting Ken to explode because, that's what his character does, right? But he sort of takes the information in, and he looks at the camera, or he doesn't look at the camera, but he sort of just looks for a second, and then he immediately starts talking about how to make the car faster. And that right there is probably the most beautiful part of the movie for me, because it's not about winning, is what the movie's saying. And you would think it would be, because Americans are all about winning, and, we're the best country out there, and, there's this huge feeling about that. What the movie is saying is it's not about winning, it's about inventing and the spirit of pushing forward.
Globalist propaganda.
Globalist propaganda. So the movie has that theme carried out, and then after this marathon of movie that you've just watched, an hour of straight racing, you really feel satisfied after that. And then sadly, Ken's character dies in a training accident after the race happens.
Oh no.
Wow.
And his son is watching. That was really, really messed up.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
This is an emotional
Pretty emotional movie, but it's just so inspirational to see these guys work through and beat down the big dogs, and they're the underdogs. They're coming up. They're climbing the ladder. And it was like the most patriotic film ever that wasn't openly patriotic, but I loved it. I was proud to be an American.
Now you're kind of making me want to see it.
Yeah,
that was I know.
That's
a sales pitch.
What? Oh, out of 10. Out of 10.
Out of 10? Okay, so I watched this with my dad, and I think he put it in a really, really great way. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but if you need a movie to pick you up when you're feeling down, or if you need a movie to make you feel like you can do anything, this is the movie to watch. You're going to feel so inspired afterwards. So I would honestly watch this a million times more if I was in the mood to do it, if I really needed to pick me up. So I would probably give this anywhere from an 8.5 to a 9. I would put it above Jojo Rabbit and probably tied with Knives Out.
Wow. Dang. That covers our headlines.
Cars.
Yeah.
Cars.
That covers our headlines. What else have y'all been watching?
Mandalorian?
Yes.
Mandalorian.
We've all
There's
seen Mandalorian?
3 new episodes out.
Yes.
Have we all seen episode 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Episode 5 was, in my opinion, as good as 1, and probably, maybe, the worst of the series. Does not mean it was bad.
Episode 5 was episode 4 is the best of the series, in my opinion.
I agree.
Episode 5 was such a big letdown coming off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
It's setup, is what it is.
storytelling wise, I was like, okay, we have Yoda and Mando, so this can either go down 2 paths. When I was looking at it, this can be a show where Mando and Yoda go on adventures saving the galaxy, or something's gonna pick up, and there's gonna be something that's gonna carry the rest of the season.
And we got the second option.
Yeah, I feel like this was the episode where that might have happened, where
I think so too. I think episode 5 is okay, time to make the plot arc for the end of the season. We're at episode 5 out of 8, so...
Yeah. Well, it scares me. We have 6, 7, and 8 left, and those will be done by the end of this month, December, when we're filming this. And what scares me is that I don't think they know what to do with Baby Yoda.
They can't let him go.
Yeah, you're right.
They can't let him go. They're not going to kill him. They're not going to capture him because the fan base would revolt.
Oh, yeah.
What he has to do something. But all he's been shown to do is he can force, pull up a giant thing for a couple seconds and then he's out.
Here's
right?
my wish list for the end of the series. Here's my dream.
Yeah.
I want the end of the series. I want Mandalorian to somehow find a way to shut off all the tracking fobs. That needs to happen first. And then he needs to go back to the planet in episode 4, wife up that farmer lady.
Period.
and live his... Because episode 4 kind of, to me, established that that's the life he wants. Mandalorian wants to settle down, but he can't. He has to protect Baby Yoda.
Sure.
like, I think episode 4 did a good job of establishing his goal. And I really want him to get that, like, at the end. It's such that sort of thing where I think it would work better if the series was longer, but I love that sort of thing where you set up, like, a really, really long-term end goal. Like, I need to get back to this place. I need to
See,
do
that's
this.
what I was thinking, is that's what this show is lacking, and it's direction for an ultimate goal. Like, I understand what you're saying about he wants to get to that life, but we already have a confirmed second season. So,
we do?
We do. So even if he gets that life at the end of this season, it's immediately gone the next.
Then in that's
You're right.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is I think that kind of ending works better for longer episode series because it's like an 8-episode series. If you give him the end goal at episode 8, it's like, well, we hardly had to wait for that.
Yeah.
Especially with a weekly thing like this. The best. I'm trying to think of a good example of something like that done really well. And I can only think of one, and it's from I think it's from an anime, actually. Ew.
Weeb alert.
It's a good one. It's a
I'm sorry,
respected
Weebs,
one.
if you watch our podcast. We
appreciate you.
We
Yeah.
respect arigato.
Oh.
It was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It did it so well. But it's like, yeah, the whole end goal, like, since episode 1, it's been established that this guy's trying to, like, bring his brother back from, like, the other side. And after, like, 6 seasons, and you finally get it, and it's just so, like, cathartic. And I want something like that for The Mandalorian, because we have the setup. I just want him to deliver.
There's a lot of potential.
It just feels like right now, the way that the showrunners have it, and I think it worked for 3 and 4, because you had a little bit of setup for each episode. Like, 1 and 2 piggybacked off of each other really, really well.
Yeah.
Which led up to 3, and you were like, okay, 3 makes sense, he's back, he's trying to get Baby Yoda. Like, it all made sense in the story. 4, he was running away, this is the start of our new journey.
Yeah.
But the problem with 4 is it didn't carry over to 5.
Yeah.
We're in, like, a serial show now.
It's in a serial show, which brings me to Clone Wars. Clone Wars works as a serial show. You can literally go into any of the seasons at any time and watch whatever arc you want, and it makes sense in the story.
Yeah, they're all, like, multi-episode little mini arcs, which I think is a great format.
But the thing with Clone Wars is, that's better than Mandalorian, is you know where the story's going. And I know that seems like it takes out a lot of the dramatic punch, that you know Order 66 is going to happen, you know these characters live, you know these characters die. But what the series does well is it will show you the progression, and you get to see the characters evolve, and then that's your catharsis.
Yeah.
Is you see these people in their highest point or lowest point right before their death or salvation. And that's what you're waiting for. And the show doesn't have to explicitly tell you this person wants to settle down, this person wants to do this, because you know what's going to happen.
Right.
It plays off the idea of Star Wars in a very intelligent way, knowing what it has to communicate and knowing what it doesn't. Mandalorian, on the other hand, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is a little scary. Some people think Boba Fett was the one who came back at the end of episode 5.
That's what my dad was saying.
Because of Spurs. I would love that so much.
Yeah. It might feel like a little bit of a cop-out to me.
Is he dead?
In the
isn't
old
he-
expanded universe, Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc, but that was
did.
kind of
okay.
made uncanon, so I don't know.
They can make it recanon. They've done that with a couple things.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Like Darth Sidious, they're gonna recanon him.
Yeah, Darth Maul, they recanoned that. Well, that was Clone Wars, too.
Darth Maul's so dope. I want him to be expanded more.
I was gonna say something about The Mandalorian. Oh, both Mandalorian and Clone Wars are Dave Filoni, so let's hope he can do something. I just feel like the showrunners are moving a little bit, like, they're not taking the time to think about where are we gonna go with this.
And we feel that as an audience.
Yeah.
Like, all of us feel that.
I have a feeling it's gonna be a Clone Wars, and the first season, it's gonna end in an unsatisfactory way, and we're gonna be like, that season, overall wasn't too great, and then it's gonna keep improving, because that's what historically Star Wars shows have done. It happened in Clone Wars, it happened in Rebels, and I could see it happening again. I haven't watched Rebels, but from what I hear, people think season 4 is much better than season 1. And I think it just takes some time to establish yourself in your own Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna move away from, like, is this the Baby Yoda arc, and next we're gonna get the something else arc?
See, that's my problem, is Baby Yoda's purpose is to be cute.
And it's he's so hard to get rid of, one, because of I think obviously
the following.
I think obviously, like, the main, like the thing he's gonna have to do in the season is get the trackers off. Like
Yeah.
that's like the big that's the big roadblock. But I mean, Baby Yoda, like he's 50 and he's a baby still. Like it would take way too long for Baby Yoda like to be able to go live on his own, which I think
baby like for 8 seasons.
which is a big Baby Yoda. There's no room for Baby Yoda to grow and change because he's like perma baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm scared. Baby Yoda seemed really good in the first few episodes, and he's still cute.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how sustainable it is.
Yeah.
And our sentiments are echoed by a lot of people on the internet. They're starting to turn on Baby Yoda. But they're turning on him. Some people are. I obviously don't mean to generalize horribly, but some people don't like Baby Yoda because he's so Disney-fied. And I don't think that's the problem. It's just, you're right. He doesn't serve a purpose as of right now, other than people are trying to go after him and the Mandalorian has to protect him. But it's not as engaging to have sort of a goal that is reoccurring rather than a goal that's constant. Like, the reoccurring goal with Baby Yoda is to get him to be safe. And you always get him safe at the end of the episode. So you always feel at least sort of satisfied.
Yeah.
So your anticipation meter's going up and up and up, and then it goes down again because you save him. And then it just keeps, like...
Going up and down.
Going up and then down. It's like the stock market. It's like... Boop, 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 boop.
Stonks.
Stonks.
Except in wider series, broader series, you get that anticipation that builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it explodes right at the end. Like, right after all this buildup, you're there, and then you just feel so satisfied. Like, that's what happened when... Spoiler alert for Clone Wars. Don't listen if you want to watch Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano leaves the Jedi Order.
Right, that was nuts.
Which is
that was
insane.
crazy.
And it's so emotional when you see her like, I need to move on. You guys don't trust me. The Jedis are falling apart. Like, that was build-up. You saw her defend the Jedi Order tooth and nail, like, for, I think it was 6 seasons at that point?
Yes.
5 or 6 seasons? And then you see her let go, and it's so emotional. This series, Mandalorian, doesn't have that for me yet.
Right.
And although it's a good series, and I did like episode 5, it's not bad, it's just not great. I think it's a very average to good episode, I would say. And if episode 1 didn't have the Baby Yoda stinger, on par with episode 1.
Yeah. I want to say episode 5, shout out to the super amazingly cool scene where they're, like, riding on the speeder bikes, shooting the flares at her. That's so cool.
Okay, that was the one part of
That scene just got me so thrilled. Like,
Yeah.
they're like zipping around on these speeder bikes, and they're taking turns shooting the flares up at the sniper. It was just cool. Like, it's just a cool scene.
For sure.
Because it's like, ooh, bam, got her. Your turn. And it's just, it was so cool. Like, the interplay was really good.
Oh, do you know what I think the problem with Mandalorian is? They just by the structure of the show, they have 20 minutes or 20 to 40 minutes, right, for each episode. You can't introduce a character and have them feel really cool in that time unless it's like the main character. And I feel like that's what they're struggling with right now.
I want that lady to come back from episode 4. Kara, the shock trooper.
Yeah.
Shock Trooper, she was so dope.
And she's in the poster, like she's supposed to be a main character.
No,
And then the bounty
IG-88's in the
hunter
poster
droid,
as
yeah.
well. They had the dude that like has the speeder in the first episode. Like he's in the poster.
Yeah, I think the show's problem is that it doesn't have any characters to rely on except for Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. Which is rough, because it's hard to run a show on 2 characters.
Well, and Mandalorian's pretty one note. Like, I'm gruff.
And Baby Yoda's
That's
a
my
baby.
line.
Yeah, Baby Yoda is no note. He's just, I have big eyes and I like to drink soup.
All we have to hold
And I
on
squeaks.
all we have to hold on to is like the idea of the father-son dynamic. That's all we have to grab onto.
For sure.
Yeah.
So out of 10, what would you guys give
Mandalorian so far?
so far? Well, general.
It
So
started
far.
it started at like an 8.
Yeah.
And it's moved down to maybe like a 7.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't think I could give it a 6.
if it keeps going at
No.
the episode 5 rate, maybe like a 6.5. Like, it's average, but right now it's still sitting at a proud 7.
Sure.
I'm gonna give every rating an adjective. A slurpy
7.
I think I have to agree with you. A 7
moist-
is
A slurpy 7,
7.
you would
Yeah,
agree with?
maybe a little bit of a soupy 7.
A supple 7.
a scrumptious 7.
Sensual 7.
A sassy 7.
Maybe a slippery one.
This is a rated R podcast now.
These are just words, bro.
A moist 7.
No.
A holothyroidic 8.
What?
Holothyroidic.
Do you want to explain that to the viewers and me?
I read it
Word
in.
of the day.
I read it. Word of the day. Holothyroidic. I read it in a Cormac McCarthy book, and I had to Google it.
Thyroid?
Get this. Get this. Being in the manner of a sea cucumber.
Ooh.
Why
Oh!
Holothyroid is like the genus or whatever of a sea cucumber.
Okay,
so if something
sure.
is holothyroidic, it's like a sea cucumber.
Oh, that's why you bounced.
See, my question is, when would you ever have to describe something as like a sea cucumber?
He was
I
writing
could think
about
of a few times.
cacti, I believe was the context. It's a cowboy book called Blood Meridian that's really cool. James Franco has been trying for years to make a movie of it, but it's kind of unfilmable. Movie tidbit of the day.
Movie
Go
tidbit.
read Blood Meridian if you like to read about devil cowboys and suffer. It's a hard book to read.
That's why James liked it.
It was I was
It's
like,
like I
I
felt
had
so
to I
alive.
had to fight myself to open that book.
He would come to me every day and he'd be like, Charlie, do you know what happened in Blood Meridian today? Do you know what Cormac McCarthy's getting me into? And I'm like, I don't know, James, you'll have to explain it. And then he went on for 20 minutes about like how crazy the judge is, murdering people left and right, and how there's no punctuation anywhere,
There's not.
which is the scariest part for me.
That is.
Like, why do people do that?
The pros for the pros.
No. Gross. Grammar.
Trailers?
What's coming out?
Rise of Skywalker. Rise of
Segue.
Skywalker.
Here's our new segment on the Socratic Cinema podcast called "What's New,"
What's new?
So original.
You're
and
Genius,
I'm
dude.
gonna put on like a slightly bootleg version, a karaoke version of "What's New, Pussycat" for this intro music.
Would you like to sing it for us?
No,
Jamie.
pull it
Jamie?
up.
So what's new with you, James?
Pussycat.
Yeah, you
I've been
pussycat.
watching a lot of. I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of movies that came out a while ago. I watched Alien.
Ooh.
Very good.
That's a holothyroidic movie.
See?
Sure.
H.R. Geiger.
Oh yeah. Didn't I talk about that?
And Stranger Things.
I've talked multiple times about the sexual horror of Alien. haven't
I
I?
watched.
It's unintentional. It's just it's everywhere.
I watched Goodfellas. I watched The Magnificent Seven, which is like episode 4 of The Mandalorian but cowboys.
Yeehaw.
That's kind of the big 3 that I can think of. The Kill Bills. I'm watching a lot of movies.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud.
I'm enjoying it. I cannot wait for 1917 to come out. That's what I want to see.
Woo.
Want to see The Lighthouse too. Can't find it anywhere.
We must.
Both of those movies I was so hyped for, and then I couldn't find tickets, and I was like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah. It's not worth it to go to the ArcLight and pay $18 for a
It's
general
insane.
admission.
No, Lighthouse looks like crazy. I've never seen The Witch, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Witch.
Vivid.
Vivitch.
But I hear it's good. And that's
Get
this
down.
guy's sophomore film.
Yeah.
I like using the term
Yeah,
sophomore
me
outside
too.
of... I sound scholarly when I use it.
Very erudite.
Of course. I concur.
Thank you, Miss Russo.
Yes.
For the vocab we never use.
For the vocab.
Anyway.
Honestly.
Kasey, what is new with you?
Oh my goodness.
Because we don't have a clue.
What's new with you?
We don't
Cuckoo
have a clue.
cuckoo.
Well, I haven't been watching movies per se.
Mm-hmm.
Kick booted.
I know.
Outta here.
I'm gonna.
Socratic Cinema.
I'm sorry.
You've committed a grave
You
Socratic
downgraded
sin.
from cinephile. I mean.
You've committed a Socratic sin.
Ooh.
Can we change our name to that Socratic Sin, Emma?
It's just like our guilty pleasure movie. Like yesterday, I watched.
Spider-Man 2.
Yesterday. It's a good one, Kasey. Yesterday, like my guilty pleasure movie, 2008 Karate Kid, Jaden Smith.
Why?
My
Why?
brothers
You-
were watching.
Because it's
Talk
fresh.
about it all of the time.
Because it's fresh.
Why? What brought you to watch the 2008 Karate Kid movie?
It's fresh because it's and Jackie Chan pulls at your heartstrings.
Okay, Jackie Chan's great.
When his wife was like,
Yes, that's the part I'm talking about, where he's in the car,
mhm.
and he's like, that's
that's
such an amazing scene. Like,
I
the
was
rest of the movie,
crying.
kind of bad. That scene, great.
yeah.
That bumps it up
Casey,
to a
what's new
10
with you?
out of
Casey,
10.
what's new with you?
Haiku. Speaking of anime, it's on Netflix, and I've been.
That's the volleyball
Yeah,
one, right?
it's the volleyball one.
Okay.
Of course, James would know about the ball.
And
didn't
I
watch
really
it.
like it. So
Okay.
if you're into sports and also, anime,
Mm-hmm.
watch it. Also, Criminal Minds, trying to get caught up on that before it comes back in January. I have like 5 more seasons to go, and it's like a month away.
Nearly
so.
there.
Charlie's trying to
Let's get
roast
it.
me for watching anime. Call out time. Charlie's into Onegai Muscle.
I have never seen Onegai Muscle.
Charlie,
Sure,
what's new
sure.
with you, Charlie?
Well, I watched every season of Onegai Muscle 3 times. No. I have been binging. I just binged all of Clone Wars. That was my main thing, and that's what I got through. And I also binged all of the Star Wars movies recently.
Oh, very nice.
So I went through the prequels, and I went through the new movies. And I gotta say, people have been telling me my opinion on the new movies was wrong, because I liked them. I rewatched them. There is nothing offensive about them. And I'm tired of people saying that they're horrible movies, because Force Awakens is actually good.
Yes.
Okay, Force Awakens is good. Yeah.
Last Jedi, I will agree, is more polarizing. I will agree, but it's not bad. It is much better than every single one of the prequels. You can ironically like the prequels. They are not great films.
They aren't. They're boring.
They're
Yeah.
really and Obi-Wan, I love Obi-Wan. He's much better in the Clone Wars. Like Clone Wars spoils you for all of the
Oh, for
prequels.
It
sure.
does, yes. Revenge of the Sith has some cool parts though. Like the
Yeah,
Sure.
That
sequels,
was the
the
best
sequels,
sequel.
the sequels, or the prequels are not good, but they're cool.
Honestly, some of the lightsaber fights in the prequels that everyone likes, like the final one in Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah, on Mustafar.
is not. It's really like just all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's just kind of bam, 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 bam,
It's
bam.
it's too energetic.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like it doesn't have any thought to it. Like people are just sort of like flailing their lightsabers around.
And then they do the goofy thing with the when
Oh,
they
yeah.
force push each other. That's a little clowny.
It's like, I don't like it. I don't like
Star Wars.
Star Wars. A lot of Star Wars.
I'm ready for episode 9. Baby.
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
I
We'll
mean,
get
I have
into
high hopes.
trailers.
I have high hopes.
Yeah.
All of the locales that they've shown in the trailers, I am so hyped for.
Oh,
I
yes.
want watery Death Star stormy thing. I have a thing for stormy seas with the rain pouring down, 2 characters fighting.
It's the inner sailor in him.
It's the inner sailor in me. I love
Moby
that so
Dick.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
like, yeah.
That looks dope. The ice planet with the TIE fighters flying into it and like the
Yes.
water's reflecting, like, oh, so cool.
He just.
Sorry.
I told you.
Dang.
I really like it, what can I say? But just so many locales in that movie, you know, maybe not the Jungle Planet, we've seen 30 of them before in Star Wars, but you know, so many of the locales are great.
Yep.
Haleigh, what's
What's
new
new
with
with
you?
you?
what's new with you?
Watched the last episode of Breaking Bad yesterday.
I am halfway
So
through
good.
season 2 and I stalled. I
Scrub.
won. I need to finish
It
it.
gets
Scrub,
so
I've never
good,
seen it.
James. It's so
Drugs.
good. No, honestly,
meth,
drug gangs.
amphetamines. Yeah.
Methamphetamines,
No,
both of them.
methamphetamines.
You don't tell me you're bringing amphetamines to my meth show.
No, that's what she put in the jars in the gifts
Yeah,
for us.
exactly.
Yeah.
Amphetamines?
Just amphetamines.
You can
You
tell
want
that
me
we
to
do
tell me a
drugs.
shrimp fried this rice?
Ha ha ha. Wow, that was
I don't know why. Unrelated. Haleigh,
Yes.
how was the last episode of Breaking
Last
Bad?
episode was really good.
I've heard the episode called Ozymandias is the best one. It's like second to last.
Ooh. Yeah, it was pretty good leading up to it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think because especially because me and my sister were watching last episode and then we went straight into the Breaking Bad movie.
Oh, El
Oh, how
Camino.
is El Camino? Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good.
Really?
I was like at the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like,
Oh, dang.
Now I need to get back into it.
Yes,
it's
you
so
do.
good. You especially AP Chem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
And you can
I'm gonna
become the
start
Walter
cooking.
White of our century.
I'm gonna start
The-
cooking.
Mm-hmm.
The news story of the chemistry teachers cooking meth in their university lab.
It's based off true events. I'm kidding.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, just been watching Clone Wars. Disney Plus Imagineering Story documentary is A1.
Oh,
I
very
recommend it
nice.
to any
How
Disney
would you
fans.
make a Disney.
Sorry, I'm trying to do Disney gang
Plus,
signs.
No, yeah, Disney gang signs.
Disney.
We're
you
so
just spelled
white.
Disney.
Disney gangs.
That's
Yeah.
our fans, Disney gangs.
Disney gangs.
Disney game.
Well, what a lovely discussion we've had. We're at 53 minutes and 39 seconds at this point, so I think we should wrap it up. But
Does anyone have a fun fact they want to drop before we end?
Water has memory.
from
That was like the most like rambunctious Halleigh's ever gotten on the podcast.
I know, that was...
Water has a memory.
there was some energy there. I actually do have a fun fact. I have many fun facts.
What's your fun fact?
Would you rather have a Roman fun fact or a Star Wars fun fact?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Did you know that David Prowse, the actor that plays Darth Vader, is not allowed to go to any Star Wars events because George Lucas thinks he's annoying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, just the
That's-
vibes are off. You gotta
that's
exclude it.
so
Vibes are off.
Vibe check.
Bro, he
didn't
vibe check. He's
pass.
like, nah.
He did not pass the vibe check.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, you have a fun fact.
Fun fact about Frozen, the indigenous
Shoot.
it's okay, Charlie. The indigenous people in the movie, like second half of it, that are living in the forest. I forget their names.
Shoshone.
Shoshone.
The Mohawks.
Oh.
Wow, James.
Wow.
Oh no!
James.
We can't come back from that.
Continue.
Anyways, they're based on a real life indigenous people, and it's very important that they were put in that movie and represented the way that they were because Disney had a whole meeting with like the leadership.
Yeah, I
and
saw like the
made
thank you
sure...
at the end. Like thank you
What,
to the
what,
people.
what was the group? Do you know? I
It
don't
starts
know.
with an S.
Yeah,
Shoshone.
No.
I don't. Jamie.
The Sioux.
Jamie-
Jamie, get on that.
Did any of y'all see the end credits scene of Frozen 2?
No.
There was an end credits
Yeah.
scene.
Well,
You guys
I
don't
I
check in the
stayed.
theater?
Dang.
Bro.
It was
they-
like 5 seconds of Olaf just going off about trauma. He just like reenacted the whole movie.
Again?
Yeah,
Again.
see.
Like you know that part where
I
you
didn't
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
anything.
There's already a scene
and
of
then there's
that.
like a big snowman with like a little.
My fun fact is that I learned. So you know, there's a lot of terms for movies out there. There's
Yeah.
flicks, movies, cinema, film. I learned that the term reserved for the most artistic, the best of the best, we're talking our Citizen Kanes, our Seven Samurais, is Kino.
Kino?
Ooh.
It comes from the German word for a movie projector.
Wow. That is
Kino.
so...
It's sacred, reserved for the most artistic, the best of the best.
That is so pretentious.
Kino. So I like to screw around with my dad and be like, let's watch some Kino tonight, Dad.
Oh, Sammy. I was right.
There we go. That's Sammy.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
S-A with the accent.
Con
Acento.
acento. Con acento.
M-I, like Sammy. Like
Okay.
Okay.
someone's
I
name.
have a cousin named Sammy spelled
Yeah.
like that. In
Yo,
town.
is that why Olaf was looking for Samantha?
Oh,
Oh, snap.
Frozen 2 was decidedly not Kino.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Maybe Rise of Skywalker. I've heard some people I've seen in some corners of the internet Blade Runner 2049 be referred to as it will be Kino.
Ooh.
I think it is
Blade Runner,
Kino. That
it's
movie's
Was it
great.
that good?
It's so
You've never
good.
seen it?
I
It's
never seen it.
beautiful.
I need
It's a
to-
masterpiece.
Sure. What?
I have a
Have
question.
you not seen it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we ship Raylo, yes or no?
No.
Mm.
I'm tired. No. I have a
No,
thing against
no,
those ships.
no.
It's like shipping Zuko in Katara in Last
Wasn't that a
Airbender.
thing though? Wasn't that a thing
Katara.
anyways?
No,
it's
it
Aang and
wasn't.
Katara.
Well,
Oh yeah, I
it's
forgot.
Aang and
It was
Katara!
kind of, it was implied.
I'm sorry.
But then it was
uh,
like, but she's gonna end up with Aang anyways.
I don't ship Star Wars stuff because Star Wars is not typically
I ship
romantic.
Chewbacca and Rey.
My whole thing is just like
Okay, so we know who we're losing.
Ro- romance isn't a huge part of the Star Wars movies. Like
Yeah.
Han and Leia, I guess, and Luke and Leia were
But
like
they had like a fiery love.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like
I
It's like,
hate,
I
I
hate
hate
you, I
that you
love
have
you.
to
Yeah.
mention Luke and Leia, who are siblings.
Siblings.
because that was a thing in like episode 5. That was a thing.
Yeah, they kissed each other.
But like romance was
For
never
jealousy. Though.
yeah.
And he was like,
Sure,
Yo,
you can say it for that.
My
Romance
sister?
was never
Yo.
the forefront of Star Wars, so I don't want to get lost in shipping. That's not
Yeah.
what Star Wars is about. It's about spaceships and fights.
Poe
Space
Dameron and Finn, though,
ship.
you gotta ship them.
But
Let's be real.
Rose now. You got, wait, did she? No, she's
No,
not
she's
dead.
alive.
She's alive.
She's alive.
Oh,
Barely.
no. We're
Yeah.
we're approaching an hour.
Yeah, I
Well,
told you
Oh
guys.
my gosh, we have 2 minutes left. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
hot takes, hot movies, hot people.
hot people.
Socratic
Socratic
Cinema.
Cinema.
Out. Adios.